Well, welcome, everybody. This is Real Estate Matters. For over 10 years, the voice of real estate in Flagler County in Palm Coast, Florida. I'm Toby Tobin. I'm the publisher of GoToby.com, a contributing writer to the Palm Coast Observer, and I'm a Florida licensed realtor with the Landmark Group at Compass. I'm sitting alone in the studio today because both our guest and my co-host are on the phone. That would be Anna Maria. She's doing family duty at this. Anna Maria, did you say it was at the Parent Teachers Organization or something like that? She's a new mother.
It's the Parent Teacher Organization for my oldest daughter's school. We've got our end of the school year dance, and I volunteered.
Okay, and our guest today is Jeff Meyer. Jeff and his wife Debbie are Landmark Group Compass. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing wonderful, Toby. Thank you.
I'm glad you could, even if it's a call, and I'm glad you could join us today. So let's talk about something new we've been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks, listing of the week. This would be a listing from the Landmark Group Compass office. And this week's listing is at 1811 North Central Avenue in Flagler Beach. And it's a coastal dream come true. Welcome to 1811 Central Avenue in Flagler Beach, a luxurious 4-bedroom, 4-bath courtyard pool home with a private casita. And it's just a block from the ocean. So you have a fully upgraded kitchen with an induction cooktop, a new gas fireplace, impact windows, a saltwater pool oasis with travertine deck, and Wi-Fi controls. The major system upgrades include a new HVAC, that's a heating and air conditioning system for those of you who aren't good at just acronyms, a water heater, new energy efficient features throughout. So don't miss the rooftop deck with an ocean view and an intercoastal view. So it has its own website. This listing is www.1811central.com. Or you can call me to arrange a viewing. My number is 386-931-7124. And we thank our sponsors for supporting us each week on this show, the Flagler County Home Builders Association, Klein Construction, and Hammock Community Church. So let's go over, we're approaching the end of the month, but we still have a lot of work to do to get the month finished. We're recording this, by the way, on the 16th to be shown on the 7th. No, I have the wrong date, 23rd and 24th. But this is Friday, so we're one day off on the numbers by the time you hear them on the radio. But so far this month, 166 homes have sold. That's compared to 279 for the entire month of May last year. The median price is $360,000 month to date. These are single-family homes sold and reported through the Flagler County MLS system. The median price a year ago was $379. Average days on market so far this month, 65. And a couple interesting features. We track each week the number of homes and price of homes in the $250,000 and under market and the $1 million plus market. And in the $250,000 and under market, only 4 homes have sold in that category so far this month. And the average days on market is 45. Now, compare that to the overall average, actually it's active days on market of 65. So the lower priced homes are selling more quickly than the rest of the market. But more interesting is the fact that the $1 million homes, there are 14 already have sold, closed this month. And average days on market for the $1 million plus homes is 49 active days on market, compared again to 65 for the entire market. So this is an unusual inversion to have the higher priced homes selling more quickly than the average home. And of those $14 million homes, 12 of them were cash sales. So that gives you a hint of why that part of the market is more active, because people at that level of the market aren't very concerned about what the interest rate is because they're paying cash. So the market's showing some signs of indecision now. We've talked about this for several weeks. Usually your local market is driven largely by factors that are local. But right now the world is in turmoil. Washington, D.C. is in turmoil. And when I say turmoil, just uncertainty, there are a lot of factors that can happen in Washington or globally that will affect and are actually already affecting our local market. But the upper end of the market, as I said, remains strong. The bottom and middle markets are slowing down because the number 4 homes under $250,000 is about half what it's been running in recent months. But here's some interesting stats looking back from today to January 1st. So we're looking back roughly 16 months. In the past 16 plus months, the median price of homes has hovered around $365,000. And it moves up and down month to month, but there's really not much difference so far this year to date, compared to all of last year. The number of homes sold is down somewhat. But the number of homes sold at or below $250K has recently tapered off. We just talked about that, hinting at a decline in investor activity, because usually the homes under $250,000, like the homes above $1 million, are mostly cash deals. And the number of cash deals at that level of the market usually indicates that somebody's buying those homes to put them into a single-family rental program. But the average days on market remains less overall than the days on market for the overall market. The big surprise is the $1 million plus, which I just talked about. But the last year, the average of 9.5 homes were sold in that category. So far this year, the number's grown to 13. Now, an extra 3.5 or 4 homes sold over $1 million is kind of a big deal. And again, they're mostly cash. This month, of the 14 that have sold for over $1 million, 12 of them were cash. 12 out of 14. So both the $250K segment and the $1 million segment consistently outpace the overall market in the number of cash transactions. So, Anna Maria, I'd like to ask you, we had one of your resident Home Builders Association members on our show, Robbie Richmond. He's a custom builder, builds a lot of $1 million plus homes. And a lot of the builders in that category are members of the Home Builders Association. I was wondering what the buzz is. You just had a general membership meeting last night. Was there any discussion among the members about the future of the local market, new construction market at the $1 million, or at least at the high end?
There wasn't a lot of discussion about that specifically, considering some of the upcoming impact fee increases that we'll be facing. However, the overall sentiment here locally is that we are in an anomaly which we've talked about. While the market around us shows a decline in overall sales, we don't. And then while the market around us shows a decline in $1 million plus sales, we show not only not a decline, but an increase.
Mm-hmm.
So we remain being a mecca or hotspot of those sales, and then that begins a speculation on why.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, the $1 million plus market is owned by the custom builders. I mean, the national builders don't, at least in this region of Florida, they don't build $1 million homes typically. And while the $1 million home custom builders tend to be members of the Home Builders Association, their sales don't typically go through the MLS system. So I'm not able to pick those numbers up in my stats. So the numbers that I'm reporting are probably, I know that we're underreporting the high end of the market, that it's actually probably stronger than it shows from the MLS numbers. Do you agree?
Many of them have reported an increase in contracts over the past 6 months or so, I would say. But that does not, like you said, reflect in the MLS, and a 6-month increase in contracts, we're not going to see those closings for 12, 18, even 24 months, depending on when that contract got signed. Contract that gets signed today, we're looking at another 18 months before it closes, essentially.
Now, Jeff, our team focuses mostly beachside, not exclusively, but I know you do. You've consistently, you're residents of Flagler Beach. The office is in Flagler Beach, right on A1A, overlooking the beach, next door to the next door bistro. For those of you who have traveled up and down A1A, it's the office that has the little putting green out in the front yard, fronting A1A. But you do an awful lot of high-end sales, you and Debbie. Jeff. What's your consensus of the Flagler Beach or the beachside market going forward?
Yeah, thanks, Toby. Beachside market has been extremely busy for us. We're going 7 days a week. In the last 30 days, we've closed $3 million plus homes in the area, and all of them have been cash. So we're seeing at the high end. Well, Flagler Beach used to have a low end market, but that doesn't exist anymore. Anything under 600,000 usually needs a lot of work. But we're seeing a lot of activity with the hotel just coming to completion, opening up this weekend. The pier going on, the road work, and the people that are coming to this area on a regular basis. It's not like it was back in 2021, but it's getting awful close.
Mm-hmm. Where are your buyers coming from, Jeff?
I mean, we target our advertising, several different places, the metropolitan areas. Of course, Jacksonville comes here a lot, Orlando comes here. But South Florida in particular has discovered, the Flagler Beach, Palm Coast Hammock area, and they come up here in droves, and they come up here, and the first thing they ask us, what's wrong with this area? I mean, what do you mean what's wrong with the area? It is so undervalued, and I see the value really climbing in the next 4 to 5 years. I mean, if you think what we have to offer, 8 miles of uninterrupted views of the ocean, which is unheard of in Florida, and from Miami to Maine, we're the closest exit off the I-95. We've been discovered, and we're getting people coming up here every week, and they're very impressed by, what we have in place here. We don't have the big high-rises like they do down south, which people, they just can't believe that. How can you do that? Flagler Beach has got it in their, the docks that you can only go 35 feet. The code, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes,
and for what they wanted is how we did that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that's yeah.
We have to take a quick break, Jeff. Hold that thought, though. We'll be right back. Stay with us, folks.
I am blown away.
More people are listening to local radio than ever before.
The amount of people that come up to me and ask me about my radio ad is staggering.
More people are listening to local radio in more ways than ever before.
At least one a day. I mean it.
More people, more advertising results. To advertise on the radio, call Flagler Broadcasting Vice President of Sales, Kirk Keller.
Kirk Keller? Hey, that's me. 386-986-9911.
flaglerbroadcasting.com.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is the second half of Real Estate Matters. Thanks for staying with us. We've got Anna Maria, my co-host, on the phone. She couldn't be in the studio today, and our guest today is Jeff Meyer. He and his wife, Debbie, run the trademark group Compass Realty firm, where I'm associated, over in the Flagler Beach side, right next door to the Next Door Bistro. Jeff, you were just talking about where your buyers are coming, because you've been commenting on how it's really a strong market. You tend to specialize in the high end. And in the first segment of the show, we were talking about the fact that the high end market is really strong in all of Flagler County, but most of the high end market is beachside, or at least between along the Intercoastal Waterway. If you're on the west side of the Intercoastal and you're $1 million home, you're probably on the water someplace. But are you saying most of your buyers are coming from South Florida, not the traditional Northeast?
Not necessarily. I mean, we're still getting Northeast, but what we're really seeing is people that are looking to escape South Florida. The traffic, the cost of properties down there has just gone through the roof. Some people, they still can't afford to live down there. So they're coming up here and, they're cashing out. They're buying cash here because the home they sold for $3 million up there, they can buy something similar for $800,000, $900,000. And we're seeing that quite frequently. We use a program that tells where everybody's coming from, all the feeder markets. And the Northeast is still very strong. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. And Jacksonville, we're getting a lot of people from Jacksonville because that's getting pretty crazy up there, and they come down here just for the lifestyle.
Are they moving here as a permanent home, or are you getting a lot of second home market?
Well, we're getting both. A lot of people that can commute 2 or 3 days a week. They'll come down here, and they'll live down here, and they'll go up there, Wednesday through Friday, and then they'll come back on the weekends, or they'll commute every day. But we're getting a lot of that. And Flagler Beach, which didn't have hardly any traffic when we moved here 13 years ago, we're seeing a lot of people come here, and everybody loves the feel, the vibe, hanging out at the beach. And I don't see that changing. I just see it getting stronger and stronger. We can only get so big, but everybody that comes here just loves it.
Well, you moved from South Florida yourself, didn't you?
That's correct.
Yeah,
yes.
I thought so. So you know that market well. So, people are just astounded when they see what they can buy for $1 million here.
Well, tell me, when I first moved here, the little town, a nice car was a car that could make it from one end of Flagler Beach to the other. And now it's $100,000 cars up and down A1A all day long. It's really changed, and people come here and they fall in love with it. You have your everyday flip-flops, and you have your work flip-flops, and you have your nice restaurant flip-flops, and that's kind of the lifestyle and the vibe that Flagler Beach and Beachside promotes. So it's a special place.
Well, you mentioned earlier the Margaritaville, the new hotel in Flagler Beach, and it's opening this weekend, and you and Debbie were invited guests at a soft opening a few days ago. Tell us about that.
Oh, we had a great time. Yeah, Minaj, who is a hotel, he owns several hotels in the area, and it's a Compass at Margaritaville. Nothing to do with us, but that's the name of it. And the food was wonderful. The bar area, the dining room, spectacular. And that opened up, so people were there last night. And the rooftop bar, it's called Chill, I believe. That's opening tonight. I just drove by there on my way back into town, and people were up there, enjoying having cocktails and having some food, and it looked like a blast. I might have to sneak over there tonight.
So it's interesting as social media has, like the people on social media, any topic related to real estate, there's so much negativity. Everybody wants the place to stay just as it was when they moved here. And, when somebody says that to me, I say, yeah, I felt the same way before you moved here. I know just how you feel. But, I think what we're going to see with the new hotel will mirror what happened when the ABC liquor store was built. When it was being constructed, it looked like it was being built right adjacent to the sidewalk. I mean, it's just a big, ugly box next to the sidewalk at the entry intersection for the city. And people complained because it was mostly when it was first built, it was just a big box because they hadn't started to put the architectural features on or any landscaping. They hadn't painted it, obviously. And I was getting calls and emails. People complained how terrible it was, what a travesty it was to put that on that corner. And then once the landscaping went in and they had the architectural features applied and it was painted, I got just as many phone calls and emails, but it was all about when are they going to open? When are they going to open? So I think after the fact, once it's open and people get used to it being there, they're going to be really happy with it. I think it's a huge plus for the city. Now, got time for a little rumor? You and I have both heard the same rumor, Jeff, that Finn's on the corner of State Road 100 or Moody and A1A, that Finn's is under contract to be sold, and that from what I've heard, and I think your rumors heard the same thing, that the present owner will still operate the restaurant there. I think I heard 1 year and you heard 2, but how confident are you in your sources for that rumor?
I was treating it just as a rumor, but this week I talked to a couple people higher up, and they brought it up to me. So there's another new building that's being built a block to the north, a 3-story commercial / short-term rental. And I was talking with, I think Crunch is the name of the company. I was talking to one of the foremen, and he's the one that brought it up to me. He goes, "What do you think is going to happen with Finn's after the sale?" And I said, "I heard that they're going to, continue to run it for a year or 2." And he goes, "Yes, that's what I've heard." But after that, he kind of thinks that, if somebody's going to spend that kind of money, they're probably going to knock it down and do something new with it. But again, that's only speculation and rumor at this time until I hear something different.
Well, if you rub an insurance policy and a mortgage together, you can start a fire.
Well, I've heard that. I'll leave that one alone.
I would guess that it would not remain in its present configuration, that there would be a tear down and a rebuild. It's just too valuable a location.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And up and down A1A, we're entertaining phone calls every day. People, looking to either purchase it for a new custom build or if it's zoned properly, small business. We don't have huge amount of parking, so it's going to remain small and quaint. You're going to see the mom and pop businesses. I don't think we have the parking or the head count for the chains to be looking at us right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I had a good friend in Flagler Beach that said Flagler Beach doesn't have a parking problem. Flagler Beach has a people who don't want to walk more than 2 blocks problem.
I agree. There's plenty of parking here, and the businesses are all doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, on the backside of the island. So, any other thoughts on the market in Flagler Beach?
I think it'll probably continue at this rate and increase maybe, 10-20%, because as we're talking about rumors, there's, rumor that we're at a historic population growth, and now we're talking about, there's all of these purchases coming in at this $1 million plus. Yes, it is an increase in the $1 million plus. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about two purchases a month to 10 purchases a month to maybe 12 or 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While it is a big number for these, this is not massive population growth. It is just, an anomaly in the $1 million market plus only.
Yeah. Well,
I just want to make that distinction very clear.
Sure. Okay. We're running out of time. This show is now being broadcast on a video podcast. The best place to find it is on Facebook. This is it's a Facebook page that the Realty Office has, and it's called Flagler Beach TV. So just say Flagler Beach TV, get on Facebook first, and then go to videos, and you'll find all of our recent video podcasts. You can also call me anytime if you have any questions, or if you want to see talk about buying or selling property of any in any price range, not just the $1 million homes, but million are nice. Call me at 386-931-7124 or email me at toby@gotoby.com. If you have any questions or if any suggestions, topics you'd like to see on the show, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being with us. I'm Toby Tobin, and I approve this show.